And guys, we are back with another edition of the Screen Team here on KWOC. Hope you are having a wonderful Saturday evening. We got some really great movies we're going to be reviewing for you this evening. Coming up in later on in the show, we've got several ladies ready to review new on DVD, the movie Bad Moms. They'll be giving you their review on that here in just a bit. Also, we're going to be reviewing our 950th review of the sequel to the Snow White and the Woodsman? Sabrina?
Huntsman.
I was close. He's hunting wood or something. I don't know. But we'll be getting to that here in just a few minutes, our 950th review. But first up on the docket is a scary film. It is called The Witch, and we've got Sabrina in to review all the movies this evening. And Sabrina, first off, Happy New Year to you.
Thanks. You too.
Good to see you here in 2017. And our first movie is, like I said, The Witch. And you're big into horror films. You love suspense films. You love anything that kind of gives you, chills up your spine. So yeah. I think this first one might be up your alley.
It's not up my alley.
It's not?
No.
But it's scary, though.
It is. It's a terrifying movie. You know how, you are one of those people that you have a real problem with scary movies that
are realistic.
Mm-hmm. And for me to say that this movie is too realistic, to some may be a stretch because it deals with witchcraft. And in common conversation, witchcraft only happens in stories and movies. And that said, I'm not going to say whether I believe or disbelieve because I'm kind of a coward when it comes to a commitment like that.
Yeah.
But to me, this movie made me fear the possibility of witchcraft, no matter what time period we're talking about, because there was so much detail in the possibility and the presentation, the taking of the baby. There was a point where you and I both pulled the covers up over our heads because we were afraid
it was too much
of what we were going to see.
Right.
I can say that you will not see what you think you might see, thank God, because that sometimes there's just things you can't unsee.
But even though you don't see it, you're thinking
you're
it in
knowing
your head.
It's the seed is firmly planted in your head, and it's horrifying.
Right.
And that's a very delicate thing for me. Personally, I just can't fathom anyone even suggesting such awfulness. And that happens within the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Right.
And then there's so much light and darkness played on the scenes that you really don't know what you're seeing or not seeing. Mm-hmm. And that fear is planted there as well. I was tense watching this movie. And so what I'm going to say is I don't like that level of fear. It's too much.
Okay, I was getting ready to ask. I was like, well, didn't the movie do its job if it puts you on that? Because it's a horror film. It's a scary film. It's supposed to put you in that place. Didn't it do its job?
It took me beyond the realm of disbelief.
Okay.
I don't like that. I like there to be a solid line between me and the possibility of what's going to happen in this movie being possible. And that said, I can watch a movie like The Strangers where you've got home invasion or even any of those types where you any kind of home invasion type, realistic murder, serial killer murders, on all those thrillers and stuff like that. I can watch those till the cows come home because I still have a separation of disbelief.
Gotcha.
That it can never happen to me, and so I'm okay watching it. And that may be very, very contradictory to what I say otherwise. But this movie, I did not enjoy. I did watch it to the end. I think everything that happened in sequence just made me think, how can they keep crossing another line with this movie?
And they did a couple of times. They really do.
You just go further and further, and this witch comes and takes a young boy that is questionably 10 to 13 years old and you know what he does. You know what she does to him.
Yeah.
Even though they only show you a portion of it, there's just too much given.
The seed is planted again.
And it's awful. And these are and I think it's my personal issue with children being involved in these scenes that bothered me so much. And the end is, by the time you get to the end, you're numb. You're just clenched and numb to the point where you're like, well, at least no one can tell the tale. I guess I don't know. I mean,
I agree with you 100% with everything you said. But if I can give a few positive points to the film, for the past 15 years, I've watched a lot of horror films because of you.
Yeah.
I was never into the genre, but since I've married you, I've come accustomed.
You've had to welcome horror into your life.
That's right. That's right. But anyway, my issue with a lot of horror films, especially the ones that have been around for the past 10, 15 years, is that they're all the same to me.
Yeah.
There's nothing new about them. And there's really nothing new about this one other than the time period that it's in. You don't see a lot of historical horror films, or time period horror films.
This is literally the pilgrimage and Quakers, and
it's usually like 1970s to now kind of thing. And this one, it's set in 17th century New England, like you said, pilgrims or whatever. And I appreciated that fact. I like that they went a different route into telling the horror story. I was like, okay,
It's a good thing you had the subtitles on, though, because the way they speak is difficult.
That's a very, very good point. They talk in that, ye woman, come and
get thee away.
And you're like,
blah,
what?
Blah.
Like, what are they talking about? So, yeah, the dialogue is definitely very hard to understand. But there was a few things I appreciated with the film, but all in all, I would say this movie is for people who enjoy horror films and are looking for something different. I would recommend this film to them. Everybody else, I would stay far away from this film as possible.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right, the movie is called The Witch. Coming up after the break is our 950th review. We are doing not The Woodsman, but
The Huntsman.
The Huntsman. It's coming your way next right here on KWOC.